Hey everybody, it's Billy Williams. I appreciate you being here today. Today we're going to discuss creating effective workflows in a business. And of course, this is presented by Inspire Nation Business Mentoring. You can always visit our website at www.inspireanation.org. My name is Billy Williams. I'm president of Inspire Nation Business Mentoring. I'm also president of the Williams Family Agency Investment Group. We currently have 40 plus partner agencies around the country who produce a little over $500 million in earned premium annually. Now, before I get started, I do need to read my disclaimer. We're a mentoring company, not a legal firm. We can discuss generalities and recommendations for using Inspired Nation business mentoring processes in ways that are consistent with our understanding of the laws. Our training is not a substitute for you obtaining competent, specific legal advice on any of the subjects covered in the training, scripting, and implementation of process suggestions. In some cases, there may be federal, state, or local laws, as well as specific carrier guidelines that may alter, impact, enhance, or supersede the way Inspire Nation teaches and recommends a process. Specific legal advice should be sought to ensure compliance. On our training outline today, we're going to look at what is a workflow. We're going to give an example workflow for a new customer. We're going to talk about the best practices for properly implementing a process workflow in your business. We're going to answer some questions that you should ask when creating a workflow template, and we're going to go over a blank workflow and show you how to fill it out. You guys excited about what's coming up? Good. This is going to be a short training, but it's going to be a very important training. So what is a process workflow? It's a set of specific tasks that are assigned to a specific person to perform at a specific time or interval based on a specific situation. A lot of specifics there, but what it basically does is it tells you who, what, and when something is going to occur in your business. So let's take a look at a workflow for a new customer coming into an insurance agency. Notice there are things that we email, things that we text, things that we phone, things that we mail out. And the reason why we do that is because we want to make sure that we're touching the customer at a time that's important for them. Now, some of these are automated and some of these are manual. You'll see the things in red are automated and the things in black are manual. Of course, most people ask the same questions. How important are process workflows to the success of a business? Here's my answer. Every successful business utilizes process workflows, regardless of the industry. Businesses such as grocery stores, car washes, fast food, banks, hairstylists, they all recognize that a properly implemented process workflow allows their business to maximize sales, makes it easier to onboard new employees, and allows the business to track the efficiency of the existing employees. How many process workflow templates should you have in your business? There should be one process workflow template for every major process in your business. Now, are there best practices for properly implementing a process workflow in the business? Absolutely, and it's a great question. So I'm going to give you bullet points to make sure that I answer this clearly for you. First, implement the automated pieces of the workflow first, especially emails, text messages, and outbound dialers. 2, decide how you're going to track the implementation and results of the process before implementing the process. Guys, don't implement a process that you're not going to track. It's a waste of time for everyone involved. 3, don't expect staff to have the correct conversations that are part of the workflow until the process has been trained and role-played at least 5 times. I know it seems like a lot, but we have years of real-world use and wisdom to back up this statement. 5 times. You see, when you do something and you're trying to get a person to change their conversation, you're dealing with a lot more than just the conversation. You're dealing with their fears, their insecurities, their history. You're dealing with their psychology. So there's so many things that go into changing a person's conversation that it's much easier to change the automated part and get that up and running and then work on the conversation as opposed to trying to do it all at the same time. 4, add each process workflow to your business job aid book. Now, the more complicated the process or task, the more screen capture should be utilized as part of the job aid book, and every business should have a job aid book. 5, train on Monday mornings. If business is war, Don't you want to plan your strategy at the beginning of each battle as opposed to reacting to the battle after it's lost? I personally have a web training and role play meeting with each of my partners on Monday morning, and this process has proven to be the most important process I've ever implemented. So I know a lot of you guys have your training day on Thursday or Friday. I'm telling you, if you really want to be successful at implementing good processes, have your training day Monday morning. Now you've got all week to implement your process. There are certain questions that you have to answer before you actually create your workflow template. What, who, when, and how. What questions? What is the process? What are the key tasks in the process? What tools and resources are needed to perform the task, such as a phone, script, computer, email, predictive dialer? What does success look like if the task is done properly or improperly? Who questions? Who performs the task and who supervises the task? When? When should the task be performed? Now that can include the time, the day, the interval, or the triggering event. How? How will results be measured and tracked? And how will results get reported to the supervisor? These are all questions you need to answer before you sit down to create your workflow template. Now, Inspire Nation has created a workflow for every major process in an insurance agency. Members can access the workflows by logging into the video and document library and selecting the associated workflow from the attachment area above each video mentoring session. Let's take a look at that example workflow again for a new customer. As you can see, I've got thank you for your business email. You see the type there says E. The interval is the day we actually bind the policy. Who performs it? The licensed sales producer. And then you can go down from there. You'll see a lot of this is done by the marketing assistant. But more importantly, and I want to stress this, get the automated pieces up and running first before you ever work on the conversations. All right. Conversations may come, they may not. But if you get that automated piece working, you know that the important things that you want to have occur will actually occur. So let's take a look at a blank workflow builder. You've got one right here in front of you. What you do is you think about your process. What is the process that I want to create this workflow around? Think about each task within that process. How am I going to get to those folks? Is that going to be an email, a phone, text message? What type of communication am I using? When is it going to happen? And who's going to do it? Guys, like I said, it's a quick training, but it's probably one of the most important trainings you can have in your agency or your business is understanding how to create a workflow.